Perfectly Obstinate People with Kathy Kolbe share stories of resilience, persistence, and defiance. Kathy Kolbe has empowered millions to trust their guts. Now Kathy empowers you to be you.
Has that obstinance energized you? Have you ever hit a wall and had to fight beyond where you thought you had the energy even to do it?
I mean, just even thinking about it, I want to take my jacket off. It makes me start to sweat.
In this episode, Kathy talks with Dr. Andrea Kayne, a professor and director of the Doctoral Program in Educational Leadership at DePaul University College of Education.
Hi, Andrea. Thanks for sitting in with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Kathy.
Andrea, your MO is so fascinating to me because you resist fact-finder details, you resist follow-through systems and bureaucracies, you're a flaming quick start, and you also are highly accommodating to the tangibleness in the world, the hands-on, yet you're a lawyer and a PhD. I'm just going to guess that you had to be pretty darn obstinate to do all that.
Definitely. And I also think that when you look at fields, and this is one of the things I love about your system, is that all skills are necessary. So you can be in academia and think that, wow, high fact finder, but it's really important to be the person in research, in teaching, in just organizing curricula who can say, wow, this is the bottom line, the so what, why is this significant? And I've been that person. So actually my simplify and fact finder has been something that's really kind of helped me in my career immensely.
Before you knew Kolbe, how did you assess that part of you? What made that real and okay to you, or was it never okay?
I think for me, I found, and this is from my colleagues, that they could get mired in sort of information overload, and they would look to me to sort of say, okay, Andrea, could you sum things up for us? We need to describe it on our course catalog. You're the person who can kind of bring it all together in a paragraph. So I feel like intuitively, it was something that became apparent. And then when I discovered Kolbe, I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. I also feel that I was the person who, when we had, hiccups or we had problems, I could very easily adapt. So again, I was able, I was adaptable in my, follow through or lack thereof. And again, in reading Kolbe, it kind of just made sense.
So it started to make sense for you. What I'm also curious about is in the workplace, it made sense. How did all this make sense to you as a law student?
That's so interesting. I mean, I really enjoyed law school, but I, again, approached it very differently. I mean, what I loved about law school was the creativity of taking case precedent, applying it to new situations, and thinking out of the box. So my quick start came into it. I also, in law school, there are the sort of traditional doctrinal courses, and then there were all the clinical courses. So I remember just falling in love with a mediation clinical course, which had us in the classroom, but also we went to small claims court and actually mediated real disputes. And I was good at that, and it really energized me. I loved that. So I was able to kind of apply my way into law school and make it my own.
I think that's such an important phrase, make it your own. You made law school work for you. I use the term conables, like the tricks and tips that you can use when the normal way doesn't work the traditional way and you have to come up with your own way. So you've been very obstinate making everything work for you your way. Has that obstinance energized you? Have you ever hit a wall and had to fight beyond where you thought you had the energy even to do it?
Definitely. At one point in my academic career, I was department chair, and I'm a program director now, which kind of works for me because I do a lot of curricular innovation. So it's a lot of my quick start. But when I had to deal with schedules and budgets and managing faculty and process and procedures, I mean, just even thinking about it, I want to take my jacket off. It makes me start to sweat. It was not a good fit. And it was something I had to kind of, again, this was before I discovered Kolbe. I went through this, does this energize me or does this deplete me? It wasn't about not wanting to do work, because when you do the right work, it energizes you and you're excited about it, even if it's really hard and challenging. But it was the wrong work, and all my workarounds. I had a wonderful assistant who I think was high fact finder, high follow through, and complimented me. But I still was the person responsible. So I think that was the time where I hit a wall and I realized I needed to do the parts of my job that really reflected my MO.
The tone of your voice just changed as you were talking about it. And as I'm sitting watching you, I mean, she really is starting to look pained talking about that period of time. You got yourself out of that by somehow being absent. What did you do to get yourself out of that, or was it just a passing period?
I had a wonderful, and he still is, a wonderful dean, and we kind of talked about what you need to do to be chair, what you need to do to be program director, and we sort of realigned my job assignment in a way that really maximized my way of doing, maximized my strengths and also my interest. And I think it worked out really, really well. And it was very interesting because I remember having a conversation with my father at the time, who I think has a very myopic view of business and organizations, and he saw it as a step down. And it was not a step down, it was a step into the right utilization of my talents, my skills, my interests, my energy. And even now, I also work at an educational tech company, and I am very clear with the COO and also the CEO, who I report to, about what my strengths are, what my kind of cognitive, my way of being, and I'm able to really have a talk with them about how they can best use me and how I can best fit and be energized in the organization.
It's so interesting, your use of the term energy. And of course, the cognitive is your use of time and energy. And it's such a shame when we use up our energy, because it takes more and more energy to work against our grain than to do it the way that works for us. So there's that glide pattern. When we're in that, it's almost effortless to do that kind of work. You're doing an amazing amount of things right now. You've been a best-selling author. People love. I just am amazed at all that you do, and your writing is so great. How do you write books with your MO?
Oh my gosh, so it's so interesting you say that. When I work with educational leaders and organizational leaders, both through my academic pursuits and my consulting pursuits, the one thing they say they wish they had more of were time and energy. The beauty of Kolbe, there's so many, but the number one thing I think is that when you are kind of in line with your cognitive profile and doing the right things in the right ways for you, you get more time and energy. You have more time and energy to do those tasks that, inspire you, enrich you, that really, excite you. So you want to do more of them. I mean, it's so interesting to me. So for me, writing and thinking and coming up with new ideas, I'm just so excited about it that I just want to do more and more.
What is your personal process for writing? Since you're a quick start implementer, it would be different than the classic way.
Well, so for me, I think sometimes I take a walk by the lake and listen to music and open the portal. The ideas come. I then will go home and speak into my voice recorder and just almost like in a brainstorming way, let it flow without any kind of editing. Then what I'll do is I will go, and again, usually it's away from my DePaul office, or I also work at this company called Otis, my Otis office. I'll go into my beautiful home office. And I have an easel and I have smelly markers and those large Post-it pads, and I'll listen to the voice recording and I'll start to chart out like the big ideas, and a kind of structure comes through me, and I'll kind of draw out. It's usually like a graph and shapes and words and arrows, a structure, and I then put the Post-its up around me, and I'll have the Post-its, and then I'll have the voice recording, and I will use the Post-its to kind of create an outline, and I'll use the voice recording to fill in the outline.
I love it. I love it. It's so you. It's so much fun to find how people make it work to do what they want to do through their cognitive MOs. You are just a fabulous example of someone who has managed this incredible life with such a variety of successes and such a depth of awareness of people. What is your greatest takeaway, do you think, at this stage of your life that you would advise other people to do?
I really think I don't know if it's Oscar Wilde, that quote about, being yourself, everyone else is taken. I really do feel that Kolbe, not just in my work life and my creative life, but in my personal life, it's about understanding who I am, and then just really, I love the word obstinate, being myself, no matter what, and celebrating that.
You're fabulous. Keep on being you.
Thanks for listening to Perfectly Obstinate People with Kathy Kolbe. Make sure you subscribe today so you don't miss an episode. It's easy, 100% free, and 100% Kathy. Visit perfectlyobstinate.com for more. That's perfectlyobstinate.com.